Many thanks for joining us for the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. Today on the program, Rancour in APC over direct primaries as party faces big test in Osun. Buhari addresses Nigerians in China, says he is not afraid for a free and fair election in 2019. And later on the program, Boko Haram launches second bloody attack in a month on Zari, Gazumala local government area in Borno State, as Army Chief raises alarm over presence of moles in the army. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Martins Oloja, and Mojid Jambu. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us once again. Nigeria's ruling party, the All Progressive Congress, that APC, is no stranger to crisis, having fought many battles lately. Another battle is raging within some APC state chairmen, with the backing of their governors who are nursing re-election bids, are opposing the adoption of direct primaries to choose party candidates for the 2019 elections. In a show of resistance to such move, about 30 APC chairmen and members of the National Working Committee, NWC, met in Abuja to perfect ways to foil the adoption. Here is another troubled water for the Adams Oshiomhole-led NWC to swim, as the APC faces a big test in the shape of Osun State governorship contest. It's 19 days to that contest. Babajide, we thought with the NEC meeting last week, we thought this direct or indirect primaries has been spelled out, and it's clear enough. What's the bone of contention now?
Well, I think a mistake was made by the Adams Oshiomhole-led leadership to allow those two governors to go and talk to the press. Because these governors, the governor of my former state, and
his name.
And Bello, and Lalong, you know, it's the same people who even wanted tenure elongation at that time. They are still together with the little man in Kaduna State, and Asuri El-Rufai. So the decision of the NWC was clear. Direct primaries, but with a proviso that if any of the state chapters does not want to do direct primaries, then it should apply to the NWC with the resolution backed by
the EXCO
of that state
local chapter
and other stakeholders to show that indeed this is what the power people in that state want. You understand? So, but what happened, rather than the spokesman of the party addressing the press after these decisions were made, it was those governors that went to address the press, and they gave the press a completely different,
misinformed the press
complexion of what transpired. So by the time that the acting PRO of the party now addressed the press in response to what they
on Friday,
a section of the media accused him of trying to do
damage control,
a kind of revisionism, you know, trying to give a different outlook to an earlier decision. But it's these governors that deliberately wrong-footed Nigerians. And I know that Oshiomhole, wherever he is now, he will have realized that he made a mistake. You should have known from the body language of these governors that they do not want direct primaries. And whether anyone likes it or not, direct primary is the most participatory, is the most democratic of all. Because at the end of the day, if you are a card-carrying member, you become automatically an elector.
You decide the fate
Unlike the
indirect
model that gives power to the money bag. If I have money, I can buy all the delegates. And what do governors even do? Sometimes these governors ensure that the ordinary man does not even know who is a delegate.
Yes.
They can change the list of delegates at the last time just to disenfranchise other people, just to make life difficult for other people. But we have a model now that ensures that power is in the hands of the ordinary card-carrying member of the party. And it also ensures that even before the main election, you can actually test your strength. Because look at what happened in Osun. Someone like Oyetola can actually project that, look, if all things go according to plan, this is the number of votes that I'm expecting. You know? Well, yes, minimum. If my party members alone. But of course, you know that there will be people from other parties who will want to vote, who are not card-carrying members and registered members of their party. So the mistake was
like
made.
a warm-up exercise.
Now, Oshomole knows now that once decisions are reached, it is not those governors that should go and address people. Why should Yabelo go and be talking to you? See the spokesman of the party? Now you see what's happening. The party has been embarrassed because the decision was not what was communicated to the people.
So it's now looking as if there's a big crisis.
No, the decision reached was not what they have not given the impression that, oh, is the presidency that alone that they will do direct primaries for.
That's what the report we even carried last week.
That's what they fed to people.
Mujid, we witnessed what happened in Ekiti State together at all the stages and everything. And we had, at the point in time, you guys had to deal with delegates. And you know how the game is. Sometimes some of these guys will have to even collect the phones from the delegate to make them incommunicado 24 hours before the primary election. Some people will even have to go and camp their delegates outside of the states. It's always a very, very expensive deal. They will have to warehouse them, feed them and everything. So compared to what you have now?
No, like Jide said, the best form of a democracy for that can produce a candidate from the list of aspirants in a primary election is the direct primaries. Although the party constitution and the constitution of the Federal Republic allows for 3 forms of emergence of candidates: the direct, indirect, and consensus. But the best option that throws the thing open where somebody who is not a money bag can emerge is the direct primaries. Because a governor can decide, or a candidate who is a money bag can decide to give, because we know the number of delegates. Probably in Osun, for example, they have about 3,300 delegates. So to say, in Ekiti, there are about 2,600. So you know what you are targeting. So if you can decide to budget 500,000 per delegate if you have the money, and you can decide to camp them. But in a situation where you have about 600,000 members of your party, how many people will you camp? So, and
you go bankrupt.
But the delegate system has alienated the ordinary man from, and it is even an absurdity, and that's why PDP lost election in 2015. The way they do it, in some instances, they will have special tags. Some delegates, you just get there, you discover that you are a delegate, you cannot even vote. They won't even give you accreditation. And they have done that to Atiku several times, the delegates thing, where in Adamase, where he came from, he recorded 0. In a place like Ekiti, where he had 2 coordinators, and the 2 coordinators are delegates, he got 0. He was now asking, say, does it mean that my coordinators didn't even vote for me? So the delegate system is a crazy sort of thing. I mean, it's as delicate as it sounds. So I think, but the governors are being so selfish. Because they know that whether with delegates, with direct or indirect, they can still emerge, they can muzzle them. But then they also want to
stop some people
from emerging. Because, for example, they want to have control of whoever goes to the House of Assembly. They want
the Senate.
And the Senate and the reps. So especially a particular case is that of Kaduna, where Senator Osun was suspended by the state chapter. The national lifted that suspension. They are saying, no, this guy cannot come. He is still suspended. So the governors are so powerful that they want to continue to control, and they know that with the delegate system, they know. I mean, they can promise. They can promise the delegates appointments apart from the money.
No, once you are popular with the masses, you are popular with the generality of the card-carrying members of your party. In the direct primaries, you are likely to prevail.
Yeah.
So if you have a senator who is always in his constituency, who reaches out to his people, there's no way a governor will be able to stop him. In the case of direct primaries. And that is why some of those governors are saying, look, what is going on? We have to stop this system.
Direct.
And then, of course, they can't choose their favored anointed candidates. Some of them are leaving. They want to put their successors there. They don't learn lessons. Successors often turn against them. You know, successors often turn against the people who install them. But these governors are not ready to learn. They are desperate to install successors, believing that it's successors that will not take them before EFCC. It's a lie. EFCC can on its own. Even if your successor does not complain that you stolen money, EFCC can on their own go after you. How many people who have installed successors today can say they are happy with the successors that they've installed?
The latest is Udom Manuel and
Fabio. Yeah.
Well, what do you make of this system? So, how will APC, because they must resolve this in the next 2 weeks so that we know, the people will know where they are going to, as in, according to their timetable?
Well, that is the concern because, well, even, you know, when Uncle Yori even did a program in the morning, you saw that most of the people, so many people called. I listened to all of them. You know, the direct system is democratic. But, you know, these are our governors, as they have been saying. They have been enjoying this thing since 1999. They have been so powerful, they have been deciding everything. But, you know, it's unfortunate that even the party, the ruling party, cannot advertise this thing that, you know, we promised you change. We are changing the system. We want to make the system to be more democratic. But you can see that building elite consensus that the vice president mentioned, which I wrote about recently, elite consensus within the party is a very difficult thing. They cannot reach a consensus. You can see a situation where they decided at the national, this is their NEC meeting, that this is what we have adopted. Then two governors announced a different thing. So it is important that the party leadership will continue to build this consensus around this thing that, look, for us to be more democratic, for internal democracy to be more inclusive, we need to adopt this system. They need to build this consensus. They need to talk about this thing to the people, that people should understand. And we too in the media should not continue to report this kind of thing as a crisis. It's not crisis, it's democracy. Democracy is all about disagreement, about all this noise making, about punching here and there. It's not crisis management. We should not continue to report this thing as crisis. We continue to get involved in reporting this kind of thing as emergence of democracy and continued democratization in the polity. But we should not continue to demonize people who say, let us be democratic. People all over the world are criticizing the way we manage internal democracy. I said, look, yes, the Constitution allows direct and indirect and consensus. Even the party constitution allows the direct, indirect, and consensus approach. For instance, the chairman of the party emerged through a consensus that was built around that one. That does not mean that that is what they should be using in everything. Yeah. But you know, one critical point that they should not throw away is that we are talking about federalism, we are talking about diversity. We have different peculiarities. If there is a reason to adopt indirect, as it was clarified, the way they should do it, they should do it. In the United States, we have this example. If they didn't adopt what they adopted, this direct primary approach in the Republican Party, Trump would not have emerged. There will be so many people around the world who say, oh, no, Trump is not a good man. But look, I continue to read what is happening in the United States. A lot of good things are happening in the United States through the same Trump that we are condemning all over the place. Look at their economy, look at so many things, trade agreements, and so many things that are happening. And I mean that they should allow the people at different levels to adopt the method that they want to adopt.
All right. Babajide, looking at this indirect primaries, the direct primaries, some northern governors that argued against it, they were talking about security. Because my own experience in Osun State, this is like an option A4 system. And when you see long queue, large crowd, and some elderly women, they had to stay under the sun, you know, intense sun, and they were waiting for the agents, and they were counting it. So it was like Lasso Yusuf. If you are for Lasso Yusuf, you queue up. If you are for Boyega Etola, you queue up. If you are from Speaker Nojim, you queue up. And like that in Oshogbo. Yeah. So you queue up according to your candidate. So one agent would not be like umpire. Just show him your card as a card-carrying member, and you start counting. A long queue. The process, to me, looks old, obsolete, archaic, could take time, and ultimately prone to violence.
There is no one that is not prone to violence. Did they not tear somebody's dress in Teslim Balogun Stadium?
What of Ekiti?
There is no one that is not. In fact, one woman almost even slapped the cow. They fired me.
Yeah.
We are witnesses to it. So which one is not prone to violence? There is no medium that is not prone to violence. This is something new. My own point is that it is difficult to manipulate. It puts power in the hands of the ordinary voter. You know, it is extremely participatory when you compare it to the other one.
The areas you have Boko Haram.
Now, so they think, no, yes, that's why they said, look,
there could be some exceptions.
There will be exceptions. Okay. For example, it's not the whole of Borno State that you have Boko Haram operates freely now. Identify those places and let's find a way to get people in those areas to choose their leaders. We did it during the election. In 2015, elections were held in IDP camps and other places. Even they didn't have to travel, they didn't have to do election in the areas where they knew people's lives would not be safe. But these governors know what they are doing. These governors know what they are doing. And I don't see, and the president who has said it, that how can anyone who says that he believes in democracy oppose direct primary? If you say, that means they believe in democracy only by name. That means it does not come from their heart. In any case, a lot of them can't even pass the test of political decency in the first place. They can't pass the test of objectivity in the first place. A lot of them, if the people have to make a choice, the people would not support them because they've not really worked for the people. You suffer the people, you don't pay people regularly. You've made civil servants suffer. Then you'll be scared that they will not vote for you. So these governors are running scared. There is a particular, I saw a video from Kebbi about one Ibrahim Mohammed Mera. He is contesting for the position of governor in that place. He appears to be the only person opposing the governor because everyone knows that literally PDP is dead in Kebbi. So do you think that the governor of Kebbi will be comfortable to have, if you see that the video of that guy when he entered, now yes, he's a high chief in the area. But if you see the video, you know that he's an extremely popular person. Don't you think the governor of that state will be scared to test his popularity against such a person? So this is the thing. If you say you are working for the people, this is the model that allows you to interface with the ordinary man. So why are you scared?
Okay, I have Godwin is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for joining us, Godwin. Yes, Godwin, are you there?
Hello?
Godwin, just turn down the volume of your TV sets so that you can talk. Yes, Godwin, are you there?
Yeah, thank you, my brother.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, thank you. How are you?
I can still listen to myself. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Yes, Godwin, go ahead with your contribution. All right, we lost that call. So ultimately, rounding up on this, how would this be resolved? How can this be resolved?
I think the hierarchy of the party and the president, should insist that whatever is good for the presidential primary should be good for the other.
How would that presidential
legs.
primary work, gentlemen?
Yes, no, it happened under the SDP NRC, where Yaradua even defeated the Yoruba candidates in Lagos. I think Olufalai. Yaradua won in Lagos. Yeah, Shehu Yaradua. Okay. So it will be held all over the country. It's as if
at the same day
of his own party.
Members of his own party. So it's the best form of
not that they will be in a venue.
No.
They will hold
it will hold
general
election all over the
36 states. The party members will come out.
Of course, now APC is in preparatory to that. They are already doing their update of the control.
Abdullah is calling us from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Abdullah.
Yes, sir. I'm aspiring councillorship. I'm aspiring for councillor as Kujera Council.
Okay, Abdullah, go ahead.
So if you want to really practice democracy, let us go by the direct primary, so that the masses, they will choose their own candidates directly. I don't know why some governors are opposite the direct primary, because they know say they don't do good to the people. So
thank you, Abdullah.
By direct primary.
Okay, Abdullah is a councillorship aspirant.
Yeah.
So I wish you the best of luck, Abdullah.
Yes, thank you, sir. I'm very happy.
No, definitely. You know, the critical point in this is that this direct primary issue puts power in the hand of the people. Yeah. And I think we should continue to emphasize that. More people who always call, when you ask people, they want this because this indirect primary disenfranchises a lot of people. Yeah. Because some delegates will just be looking for, it's like a farm to them. They want to make their own through that, because you can control, you see these money bags always by them.
The highest bidder.
Yeah, the highest bidder. But this one puts power in the hand of all the members of the party, and they can decide who they want. You know, it's important. But then, as he said, the party leadership and of course the president should not be aloof to this matter because of the controversial nature of this decision. They should continue to build consensus around it and say, look, it will make our party to be popular, it will make our party to be acceptable, it will make more people to come to our party. It will, you know, they should continue to build this consensus around that policy.
Okay. Babajide, if you want to look at it on the final notes, looking at they will need logistics. Yes. They will need INEC witnesses. They will need people from INEC. They will need security. They will spend money.
Yes.
They will spend more than...
INEC will also be stretched because it means that election will take place in all the constituencies.
Yeah.
So it will stretch personnel of INEC. Unlike the case
because I could see in their budgets for monitoring of primaries. Yeah. It's even
this one more constituencies will be involved now, and INEC will really need to do a lot of work. But if you say that it's unwieldy, then what do you call a national election? Did they not do it in Osun? We should be focused on how to perfect the thing.
To make it work.
Since we have seen that it puts power in the hands of the ordinary voter, we should look at how we can perfect it. It worked in Osun. I believe it can work in many more states in Nigeria.
All right, moving on now. Still to come, President Muhammadu Buhari's address Nigerians in China says he's not afraid of free and fair election in 2019. Stay with us, it's still journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this breather. Thank you for staying with us. This is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria. Now, the one who wields political power can be said to be confident of achieving whatever aim he desires. Add this to a broad support base, and such confidence can be limitless. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari is one man that can be said to be swimming in both ends. Nothing should move him ahead of a decisive election. Speaking in China on Sunday, President Buhari boasted to a gathering of Nigerians in Beijing that he's not afraid of a free and fair election. He said being a product of such process after 4 shots at the nation's presidency, noting nothing will make him fear a credible contest in the forthcoming 2019 election. Mujid, Mr. President actually said he was surprised, he was shocked when that famous 5:15 p.m. phone call came from Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and to congratulate him. And at any given forum, Mr. President is will still express his shock and surprise that a sitting president in Nigeria
some
call before INEC released the results officially to congratulate. You know, in Nigeria, a lot of our politicians are bad losers. Even when they lose election, when it's so obvious, they pursue it. And even within the primary election, there's always a complaint. We are not always fair losers. Apart from Kaide Fayemi, maybe in 2014, that considered to Ayefayoshe and Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, you can pinpoint in our history that somebody will
took it back. He took it back. Kaide Fayemi took it back.
Can beat him fair and square.
There's no second example.
You see, it's not only in Nigeria. I think the thing is in us, in Africa. I remember what happened in Gambia. The young man that lost the election, it was about congratulating the president now, and he made a U-turn, and until he has to be chased away. So I still give kudos to Jonathan for that unique sacrifice. I want to believe it was a unique sacrifice that he made because
saving our democracy.
Yes, because there have been a lot of predictions that there will be
in 2015 Nigeria will not survive.
Will not survive. Nigeria will break down. In fact, some people even threatened. Some militants threatened that if Yar'Adua should refuse to contest, there will be problem. Talk less of, they can't even imagine him losing that.
Jonathan.
Jonathan, that they can't even imagine him losing the election. So, but the moment he made that 5:15 phone call, I mean, it just doused tension. I mean, it put to shame the antics of people like Olubebe. And it's a good reminder that the president, President Muhammadu Buhari, I mean, is in China now. I mean, it's reminding Nigerians that he's willing to allow or to emerge or allow a free, a fair and credible election. Because, I mean, he said Nigerians should recall that he also emerged through a similar exercise. I mean, we are in the process of perfecting
our democracy.
Our democracy.
Martin, the president in 2003 contested the presidential election to Supreme Court level. I'm talking about Muhammadu Buhari when he didn't win in 2003. He got to Supreme Court level, he stopped attending Council of State meeting, and at that time, he pursued it. Yes. He did not congratulate the winner.
He wept for Nigeria.
He wept.
In 2007, he pursued it to Supreme Court level. He pursued it at that time. And in 2011, the same thing. That was the last outing and everything. And I don't have any record of at the run of the election. And Buhari, we immediately congratulate his counterpart that he has won an election. That I'm not going to court. I'm not doing this like Goodluck Jonathan did. So,
yes.
Will this president, if eventually is defeated,
well,
will he concede?
There is no art to find the mind's construction in the face, as Shakespeare said. But you know, since he has testified to what Jonathan did, that one means that we will be watching. That if he is defeated, he should be ready. And those elders who also worked behind the scene
Yes,
Kudos. Those odd elders.
Yes, yes.
I think they should not disband that committee of elders to also.
They made them sign.
Yes, they should work. They should also be gathering as we are talking. And if they are listening to us, they should know that they have a job to do. And if this president is defeated, because the antecedent you just painted, he had never even agreed to pursue everybody to Supreme Court. And he even rewarded 2 of the justices, said that...
we can't substantiate that.
Yes, definitely. We can't substantiate that, but it's a fact that we cannot, because people said when two justices who ruled in his favor, even though minority judgment like that. One of them is in the United States, the other one is in the
they are card-carrying member of party. They are retired and they are card-carrying members of his political party. So
it's a coincidence.
This is the time we use data for journalism. So I think it is important to remember that.
Do you see this president looking at it? Maybe 12, 13 states released the way it happened officially, and from his own tally, look, I cannot make it. Congratulations to my PDP counterpart. If it's a fight between the PDP and the APC, I'm just narrowing it down.
I don't like answering hypothetical questions. Because first and foremost, I don't see him losing the election. But if you look at what the president is saying, I ended up 3 times in the Supreme Court, and the 3rd time in 2011, I said, God day. And really, God day. That means Buhari believes that he won the election in 2011. He didn't win those elections. He didn't even have support across the country.
Maybe he was rigged out.
He didn't even have support.
Those elections were not free and
how
fair.
many? He didn't have support in the south. He had support only in the far north.
Yes,
This was the last election.
He didn't even have agents.
He didn't even
have agents.
The thing is, if he had strong base in the south, he would have agents.
That is it.
How can you be strong in a place and you won't have agents? People would die to even be your agent. So he didn't have this. In 2015 was the first time. 2015 was the first time that Buhari, with the support of Asiwaju and other people, was able to reach out to the south. They dressed him up, gave him Igbo dress on some occasions, and we saw him campaign, go to all those places. It didn't happen in previous elections, you know? But it has become clear to people that, look, even with all those millions of votes from the core north, you cannot be Nigerian president. You must have support across the country.
I think 24 states.
Yes.
25%
in 24 states. You must have support. He didn't have, in those years that he talked about, who were the people working for him? Do you remember the people working for him across the country? Who were the big politicians from all the major ethnic regions of our country who worked for him the way they worked for him in 2015?
Campaigned in the southwest. He never came to.
And Pastor Bakare is not even strong politically here. He's not likely to win an election
in Oregon or
Kenya local government. You know, on the street, he's not likely to win an election. This is a fact. This is a fact that can be put to test. Abi? It can be put to test. Let's see. You know, so I'm just saying the truth. It's not that I'm not being uncharitable. You know, I'm not being uncharitable. I'm just saying the truth. Because we know the way our people vote. We know the way our people vote. It's not likely to win an election in the area where he lives, even if we want to expand it a little bit beyond his street. So Pastor Bakare, backing him all the way, could not have won an election for him around here. But we saw that things changed in 2015. So you need broad-based support. You can't win with only support from the corner. You will get those 12 million votes, but those 12 million votes will not win the election for you. Someone else will win more, will get more than 12 million votes, and you'll be defeated.
Or somebody will split that vote, 12 million votes.
But you see,
the
president is free to contest the conduct of an election, even if it was manipulated in 2 constituencies. You can contest. That way, those constant contestations the outcome of elections have helped us now. Our processes are better. So what I want from the president now is to ensure that INEC continues to get better. Is the president, yes, he appointed the INEC chairman. The INEC is supposed to be independent, but he has to mandate them. The way he's leading the corruption fight from the front, he has to tell INEC that, look, we want to be like Botswana, we want to be like other countries. Let the votes of our people count. Improve your processes so that every Nigerian will trust the INEC that
once
they come out to vote, the vote will count. And the issue of the do or die nature of our politics, the president has to lead the way, talking to people within his own party and outside of his party, that look, the era of do or die politics is gone. These days, people must earn their votes. So this is a legacy that I can give Nigeria for which it will never be forgotten. So we're saying that he's not afraid to contest. Yes, he's not afraid. We know that he has the capacity to win election, but he should move ahead and help us to create a democratic culture that we will all be proud of.
And more important, vote buying. Vote buying is a concept that has just cropped up.
Okay.
Vote buying.
We don't have time again.
He has to deal with that.
We don't have time again. The former president will always say that my ambition is not what any life. So with that, he walked the talk. Now, Nigerians, particularly those living in the heart of Boko Haram terror in the northeast, are in a fix. Many of us are in a kind of dilemma over how a supposed decapitated insurgent group continues to carry out daring attacks on civilians and even military formations. That's the worrisome part. Another ambush attack on gallant troops in Zari village of Guzamala local government area in Borno State on Thursday poured and God one's inner being. The death toll in that deadly attack continues to rise, raising fresh concern about the resurgent sects. The worried chief of army staff, that's Lieutenant General Tuko Burate, is putting the blame on moles within the army. An enemy within, they say, is worse than an enemy without. Or so it seems for the army. Now, here is this from the chief of army staff.
We've been working very hard to ensure that those who are bent on sabotaging our operations and other general administrative efforts. We've worked hard, we've identified some of them, and some of them have been court-martialed and the appropriate sanctions been meted on them in line with our military justice system.
All right. What we are seeing, what we're witnessing, let me start from Mujid. It's another thing if they are carrying attacks at villagers and their usual mode of operation, but in a situation where they are going to military formation to seize ammunition, to confront soldiers.
No, we keep talking about the level of our intelligence gathering. Now, this war has gone beyond just cock and shoot. I mean, we need strategy to win this kind of battle. But what baffles me is the statement from Brigadier General Texas Shuku. He has a fine name, but then what comes from his mouth is embarrassing. When you come out to deny totally that lives were lost, I mean, that our soldiers, I mean, were not killed. Now, here we have Buratai blaming what happened on moles. So where did these moles come from? It boils down to the fact that if military bases are attacked, so what happened to helpless civilians? I mean, we need to improve on our... I mean, these guys, the Boko Haram insurgents, keep following the same They keep using the same tactics. They will dress in camouflage and pretend as if they are bringing ammunition or to come and change guard, and they open fire on our guys. And I think this is not the first time, this is not the second time, this is not even the third time. In the last 6 weeks, we've lost about 90 soldiers. In the last 6 weeks. Yes. I mean, these are reports from the Nigerian Army.
At least 7 attacks.
About 7 attacks in 6 weeks in the same axis. And also, I think Nigeria should engage the government of the Niger Republic, because it is in Moba local government where some of these threats are coming from. We share a border. I mean, Nigeria shares a border with the Niger Republic through Moba local government. I mean, Moba local government. That's where some of these insurgents come from, which means they could be residing in Niger to be launching attacks on our soldiers. But whichever way it is, it should be checked.
Well, actually, at any given time, we've had to even add talks with people in government or this administration that they have to question our knowledge on this program, or as a question us that why do we keep telling people that they don't have territories, that they've not been defeated, they've not been decapitated. Yes. Years after now, yes, we are witnessing and experiencing military attack on our military bases formations. It says a lot. You are not just going to civilians. Yeah. You are going. It takes guts. It takes
to go and take on soldiers.
Soldiers
in their base.
In their base. Suicide mission.
These guys, they are ready for a fight, and as a military officer told me, he said, we jubilated too early. And when people go out to say, oh, we have defeated the enemy, there is a way in which it affects the troops on ground, because the troops on ground will feel relaxed that, look, there's really no big deal about these guys. Remember what the governor of Borno State said back then, that the rainy season, that if we do not crush Boko Haram before rainy season sets in, that we'll be in trouble. These guys are very, very much more active than our soldiers in the rainy season, because our fighting vehicles, our trucks, tanks, they cannot move freely in that area. Given the texture of the soil in that area, they can't move freely during rainy season. They will get stuck. But so for that reason, we are not taking the battle to them as we should. We are in our defensive position most of the time. On their own part, they have found a way around moving around. So since they want to steal
difficult terrain,
yes, they will come on gun trucks. The attack on this Zali was the 2nd in August. The attack that we are talking about, that the army is denying and all that, is the 2nd in August. The first one, these guys came with 12 gun trucks. They overwhelmed. 12 trucks. They overwhelmed.
Is the one that you assemble,
yes,
like a machine gun
on top of it,
and you'll be shooting indiscriminately.
So they overwhelmed the troops and they carted away weapons. Boko Haram does that even in Niger Republic. They attack army bases even in Niger Republic and they cart away weapons. This is a fact. They have cells. When you say, oh, they seem to be coming from Niger. No, they have cells inside Niger Republic. They have cells even in N'Djamena. So, yes. So from those cells in the Niger Republic, you can see that the 3 local governments where they are giving us hell, the local government located close to
the border.
To the border. You know, the other day they went, our soldiers were digging trenches in Damasak, because with those trenches at least we can stop them from overrunning an army base. Yeah. So while they were digging the trenches, these guys, they went to the place, opened fire on the soldiers digging trenches, and they killed people. So the truth is, I as a person, I'm troubled. As much as the army would not want the announcing the death of troops to demoralize those who are still on the field, Nigerians are the people fighting. And a lot of them have lost loved ones. Even in this office, I know a girl in this office who lost a brother who got married just December last year. So there's no way news will not go around. You see retired soldiers, you see the soldiers who used to be under their command, who are presently in the force, reporting to their guys that, these guys came the other day and they killed us. So how will news not go around? That's why AFP is still insisting that the death toll has risen to 48. Because people will not go and take information simply from the army alone. There are other sources of getting information. Remember when those oil workers were attacked? Remember that the former army spokesman called in on our program to say no, that nobody was killed, that they recovered all the weapons.
Gotten them.
Before we left this program, people were calling us in Maiduguri to say, oh, he lied to you, that we are burying people now. And I sent the correspondent, Kolomi Dala, I said, go to Unimate. He went to Unimate and he met a funeral procession. So in that case, how do you deny?
No.
So we lost troops and they took away weapons. So this is the thing. We must tell ourselves the truth. The government has to invest heavily in equipment for the army. Do you know why the Chief of Air Staff was asking for Tucano helicopters? Because he knows that the Tucano will give us the edge that we need and we can wipe out these guys. A country like Sudan, I can tell you, Sudan has no less than 70 ground attack helicopters.
Sudan.
Almost
a failed state.
If you go to even you go to Sudan, go to even their airport, you see no less than 30 ground attack helicopters at the airport alone. So we need to, if we invest heavily in equipment, we saw the difference that T-72 Russian tanks made. Although today, only God knows how many of those T-72 Russian tanks are still operational, because you must get the right people to service them. So are we going to fall back on our T-55 that is manual, that is not computer-based? When you can buy T-72 that can lock onto the enemy for as long as 3,000 meters. Even vehicle-mounted IEDs, if they jam T-72 Russian tank, nothing happens. Vehicle-mounted IEDs, to show you how strong that armor tank is. We were able to get a few of them from Ukraine during the Jonathan regime. This kind of investment in the equipment that will save the lives of these soldiers must continue. We must even move beyond that. Maybe we couldn't buy weapons from America. We had to go through Ukraine. Some of those, the parts for the T-72 tanks were coupled here in Nigeria, were assembled here in Nigeria. We have to take it further. I sympathize with these soldiers who are dying, because it's a fact that soldiers are dying. Remember when they killed our soldiers in Gashigar, and Premium Times carried the story. The army denied. But what did the army do? The strategy of the army is to wait after like 3-4 months. Then they will start contacting families. By that time, you know, that story will no longer be trending. Then they will start contacting family. Oh, we lost also person. And then burial can take place. Look at the last burial that took place in Maiduguri. It was the burial of troops that we lost in the dual ambush in Bama and Jili in Yobe State. But we never admitted that anybody died. The only thing that the former commander of the Operation Lafia Adole, Rogers Nicola, the only thing he said was that they lost two army trucks. Before you can take away 2 army trucks from soldiers, are you going to shake their hands for them to release them to you?
Difficult.
In an ambush.
Martin,
No,
what are we looking at here?
No, definitely, you know, the issue of all this denial. And I think, with due respect, that most of these soldiers who manage information, defense information, are not even conscious of the fact that in this era of the social media, the walls have more ears. Even some of their operatives could even take photographs and send to people, because they are not happy about the kind of denial, because people lose members of their families and you are saying that we should not say, definitely there is nothing you can hide. This is, I think we need to make that one, that they should change.
No, it's not even working anymore.
They should change their
deniers
mode
are not working anymore.
These same soldiers issue so many releases. We have killed this one. We have this number of Boko Haram. This soldier, we have killed this. But when it comes to
they don't own up to their setbacks.
They should own up. And you know, you can see the correlation between denial and the boasting that we have done this and strike by these insurgents. They want to tell us that, look, all this technical defeat here, all this story.
In fact, that is what gets them angry.
Yeah, it gets them angry.
The more you say you defeated them, they want to show that it's a lie.
That, look, it's a lie, that we are still very much on ground. That is the message they are sending. And also, most of the time, when they get some equipment and all those things like that, when they get reinforcements, they are very, very proud to say it. All these things, I think they need some education on defense information management.
Majid?
Yeah, they will tell you that it's this coded information is strict, classified information. Yeah, that's where they put it. You see, they are also in a very they are in dire straits. They are not happy that soldiers have been lost, but then, we should have a better way of managing information. I mean, especially like I said, we are in the age of digital media. Before you know it, look at the exclusive CNN did with a Nigerian soldier who was talking about how they were contributing money to buy boots, but that was during the Jonathan era. That has improved tremendously. And I think by the time the equipment we paid for with the Trump administration starts coming in, I think we'll have a better
2020.
We can't rely on that one alone.
Because
these are just largely
these things take time.
We still have 2019
helicopters and others.
These things take time to come. That's it.
That is the problem. That is the problem.
The former government.
No, you have to find a way to get from the black market.
To get something, and it shouldn't be
We were able
announcing
to
it.
push them back before that election because of the T-72 Russian.
If they get to the black market, they
went
should
to
not
black
issue a
market
press
to buy.
release that they have gone to the black market.
So that is the thing. We just have to do something. We can't live. Look, we still suffer serious equipment deficiency.
Definitely.
Soldiers will tell you. So that's what the government needs to work on. Honestly, if we have sufficient firepower, sufficient equipment, I always talk about the Mi-35 because you need the Air Force to soften the ground, and then the ground troops or surface troops, as they call them, will come in. But usually what happens is they've started killing our soldiers. Then the Air Force will start scrambling to the area. That is wrong. You see, if our intelligence gathering is sufficient, is good enough,
Fire brigade.
The Air Force will get there in good time, not when our soldiers have their backs to the wall. So we are still using, we are not trained in this unconventional warfare. Our soldiers were trained, in the conventional warfare. So we still have a lot to learn. And these sacrifices we just have to find a way of stopping the killing of our soldiers in this manner.
You were talking about Sudan. They have good hospitals in Kwaya. So it is not only better equipment that they have. You just say almost a failed state. No, we have a lot of things to learn from there. Most of our people go to Sudan for medical assistance or anything.
Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for that brilliant contribution. Martin Soloja, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Moji Jami, as we begin our countdown, thank you.
Thank you.
He knows what I'm talking about.
We are together here.
And the master himself, Abajide Kolade Utstaju. Thank you. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. Also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. We're also live on youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. God bless Nigeria. See you tomorrow.